All right, here's a preview video for Pocket Space RPG's Starships and Starship Combat. So, I've got the rules for refueling them and paying for them. I've got 5 different types of starships. You'll notice here there's a target number beside each one. Most of these are target number 4 plus. And the rules for space travel, it's going to be pretty easy with hyper jumps and your hyper drive system range. And then you've got the Starship Combat. So the main thing to take away from the Starship Combat is everybody has a role to play, which, as some people may know, in space RPGs, sometimes just the pilot is doing stuff and that's about it. Well, I wanted to try to alleviate that problem and give everybody something to do. So I'm not going to go fully into it, but just to kind of make a abstract view of how it works is this. So Kirk's going up against Khan, and he's got to kind of outthink Khan, so he's going to be in the outwit position. If he succeeds, beating the target number of the ship that Khan is in, he's going to be able to give one of the other positions a reroll. And if he's a higher level captain, he gets to give out more rerolls. In the assessment position, Spock is now trying to figure out what's going on in Khan's ship, what its weaknesses are, what its defenses are, what its strengths are, and he makes the same target number roll against Khan's ship. And if he succeeds, he gives a reroll to either the piloting position or the gunnery position. If he gets a heroic reroll while he's doing it, he can expend it to give both of them heroic rerolls. And then comes the most important one, of course, still is going to be the pilot position. The pilot position is going to decide whether or not to, for this combat round, to fly offensively or defensively. If they do offensively, they're going to make a target number roll, same as before, trying to hit Khan's ship. And if they succeed, they give a reroll to the gunnery position, who's going to finally take the shot. And we're going to go to the next page. We've got, so if he also is able to get a heroic reroll, he can expend it so that he does double damage, the gunnery roll position will. So that's going to be very helpful to get those critical hits. If he decides to go defensive, he makes the same roll, and all sources of hull damage from enemy starships are going to be reduced by 2 for that round. But the gunnery position will not be able to get an attack. He will not be able to take any shots. The ship is flying into defensive maneuvers and is not in a position to take a shot. Now, if he gets a heroic reroll, he can immediately expend it to reduce any hull damage that round by 3 instead of 2. Plus, he gives a reroll to the engineering position, which is going to give the engineer more time to figure out what they need to do. Now the enemy attacks. Each round, the enemy starships now take all their shots at the player character starship, requiring the piloting position to make a piloting roll against the enemy starship's target number for each shot. So the pilot's going to do the exact same thing, and for each one that he fails, the ship is going to take damage. Okay, that's how that's going to work. And then finally, the gunnery position, when it comes to actually shooting and piloting against the enemy starship, the gunnery position is going to take a shot again, trying to get that same target number, which that target number can go up and down based on how well that enemy crew is or how well their starship is. So what they're going to do is, if they make the roll, they roll damage against the enemy starship's hull, doing damage to it. Now, if he gets a heroic reroll, he can expend it to add +2 to the damage. And of course, that's also in addition to whether or not the pilot was able to expend a heroic reroll to do double damage. So it'll be double damage +2. So that's going to be really powerful, obviously hitting a critical spot on that enemy starship. And then finally, you're going to have the engineering position. It's a little bit outside of those other positions, and it's going to be a blanket difficulty number of 4+. So you got to roll a 4+ on a d6. Now, of course, that can go up and down based off, whatever the starship is or what the Pocket Master decides is going on. So they've got 2 choices: boost the engines, which gives a reroll during the following combat round to the next offensive piloting roll. It's giving them more juice in the offensive piloting state, okay, in order to hopefully be able to get behind that other enemy starship. Or they can increase the damage received by 3 on the next successful defensive piloting position roll, obviously giving more boost to the starship when it comes to reducing damage. And it also allows for the pilot, whenever he does defensive, if he doesn't have to worry about expending it to get a heroic reroll. It's going to be 3 automatic right there. So it's kind of like a built-in boost for piloting defensively. Or they can repair the hull. The engineer repairs 2 points of hull damage to the starship, If he gets a heroic reroll while he's doing it, it can be expended to repair 3 points of hull damage to the starship instead of 2. You discard all your rerolls. You repeat that until someone's destroyed or incapacitated, whatever the Pocket Master decides. There's optional rules here for explosive weapons like torpedoes or missiles, and pretty much those are going to be, only a certain amount of those you're going to dish out to your players and their characters as a Pocket Master. And then before the gunnery position roll, you make the roll. You say, hey, I'm going to use the torpedoes here. You're going to do pretty much double damage whenever you hit. And then there's rules for replenishing your starship. So pretty much for every whole point of damage you're going to do that's done to your ship, it's going to take 1,000 credits worth of supplies. And during that time that you've spent those, you could be at a +1 to all pretty much target numbers because maybe the stuff has been damaged, or it may even hurt your cargo, reduce your stats, or maybe there's some actions that the starship won't be able to do at all. And then just to tack onto the back here, we've got ground vehicles. So it's pretty much the same basic rules, except it's not going to have outwit, assessment, and engineering positions, but it is going to have piloting and gunnery, and it tells a little bit about, a little bit abstract, like what you should probably do, anywhere between 1 and 24 passengers, how much damage if it has a weapon, how much it does, how much tons of cargo it should be able to hold. But I know some people would probably want ground vehicle rules, and so I kind of put them in there. Hull should be between 2 and 12. 2 would be maybe for like a motorcycle, and then 12 being for a big transport of some sort. And then, of course, your personal weapons against the vehicle are going to do 2 less damage against that vehicle, or none if it's like a big tank type vehicle. The Pocket Master's like, nope, you're not going to be able to hit that. So there it is. It's kind of a quick overview of the way that Starships and Starship combat works. You can see here what's coming up. We've got stuff to make worlds, so planetary systems and worlds, and that'll be in the next video. So thanks for watching, and hope that you'll check out the next one. So thanks a lot.